Hey guys, welcome to a new video. In today's video, I wanted to pop in and just talk about some reflections that I had thinking about the 4 biggest mistakes that I probably made with print on demand. I've done a ton of mistakes, so I don't want to limit it to 4. I've probably done hundreds, if not thousands of mistakes. On a daily basis, I do mistakes with print on demand, but these are just 4 that kind of stick out of my head. And if I really had the chance to go back and fix these things, I actually wouldn't. That's why I kind of wrote the word regrets here. But at the end of the day, everything does happen for a reason. So I feel like everything kind of played its part, and I'll explain why that is in each mistake that I go through. But at the end of the day, these are things that, at the end of the day, if I was more intelligent of an individual, I believe I could have, kind of fix these issues. But at the end, like I said, it is what it is. Okay, I'm not ashamed of these mistakes, but they are part of my journey, my story. So I figured I'd share them. So mistake number 1. So I wish I had taken print on demand a little bit more seriously earlier. I'm talking a few years earlier, before I got really into it. And the reason why is because I felt like, and this is honestly why I've been working so hard on print on demand this year, is with print on demand specifically this year, guys. The reason why I even got into it so hard is I saw that I was getting success early, and I thought it was easy. And because I had this opinion that it was just ridiculously easy, I stepped off the gas. I really didn't take full advantage of it. And we're talking about in the past, years prior. When I really got into it, I started to realize how much I screwed off. And that's kind of the best way I can really explain it. How much I screwed off, how much I didn't pay attention, how much I treated it like a joke. Basically, that's why I've been working my butt off literally this year, because I wanted to catch up to the years that I've made that lackadaisical effort. Basically no effort, no energy, no aggressiveness, no enthusiasm in the past years. So I figured 2022 would be the year that I attack it full force. You guys know on Redbubble alone, and this is amongst many other platforms, not just Redbubble, but Redbubble alone uploading 60 designs per day, which is the max that you are allowed to upload. Like I said, the only reason why I'm doing that is because I felt like I was leaving money on the table because of my behaviors in the past. So definitely a mistake that I feel, or a regret that I feel, is I simply should have took it more seriously earlier. If I had taken it more seriously earlier, I wouldn't have to be, grinding as hard as I am this year with print on demand this year. So I could have been doing other things. I could have been, getting into new business ventures, building more blogs, whatever the case may be. So that's kind of my first regret. And just being honest about it, I wish I maybe would have took it more seriously, but then again, everything happens for a reason. Number 2, I wish I wouldn't have worried about Zazzle too much. I know this might sound kind of crazy, but when I see people doing big numbers on certain platforms, I get interested. I get intrigued. Well, for me, it wasn't a YouTube channel or a YouTuber that started talking about Zazzle that really caught my attention. I knew Zazzle existed for a long time, and I would see on the website these different levels of sellers: diamond sellers, platinum sellers. And when I would search what that meant, that means they made, like platinum, for example, means you made over $500,000 on the platform. Little did I know that these sellers at the time, and mind you, this was at the time, this is not now, but at the time, those sellers had acquired that over a very long period of time. And if you actually look at their monthly numbers, they're making maybe $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, $4,000 even. It's not even that critical. I thought they were doing things like 50, 60, 100 grand a month, and that's not the case whatsoever. I actually connected with one of the top sellers on Zazzle who actually has access to his own rep on Zazzle, and he makes something like $22,000 a month, and he's in the top 1 percentile of all of Zazzle. And when I started talking to him, asking questions, and we were actually just talking recently, this was in the beginning, when I was asking questions and learning how things were going, this was before I had started, I started to now wake up to what it was actually like, but I still thought there would be an easy way to get into, making money. Now, I don't know if you guys know this story. I did talk about this story on the intro page for the Zazzle course. If you guys are familiar, when I released the Zazzle course, the Zazzle tagging course, specifically Zazzle tagging, because I feel like that's one of the literally most effective parts of Zazzle. This video here, I don't know if you guys saw it or not, I was talking about how hard I had to struggle with Zazzle in the beginning. It took me 3 months to get my first sale with Zazzle, guys. 3 months. And I could easily sit here and say it was easy and all this. It wasn't easy. I was looking at Zazzle every day, and I was trying to figure out, where am I going wrong with this? And honestly, it consumed a lot of my time. And if I was to go back in time, if I had that, hyperbolic time chamber, time machine, whatever, if I had the chance to go back, I probably would not invest as much time as I would into Zazzle. The reason why is because if I took that time that I invested into Zazzle and had put it into Redbubble, or not even just Redbubble, any platform, or even forget Redbubble, forget print on demand, period. Had I invested it into blogging, for example, I would have made about triple the amount. To give you guys a frame, my Zazzle income varies between $2,200 and $4,500, maybe even $4,600 on a lucky month, between those kind of areas. That's if I'm uploading a lot, or even if I'm not uploading at all. It just ranges between there. And a lot of my orders are bulk orders, because the very first sale that I got was a bulk order. I started to learn about how to get bulk orders set up and how to do that kind of thing and get them going. And with that amount of time, like I said, that I put in, I could have put it into blogs, let's say, and within 2 years I would be making $12K a month easy from the amount of time that I would put into that. So I put a lot of time into Zazzle, more than I can actually care to talk about. And I didn't really realize until, those few months had passed. It was 3 months to be exact. And then a few months after that, I started to get a little better. But at that time, I feel like it was just a lot of time that I spent that I could have invested somewhere else. Now, once again, even though they are regrets of mine, these are things that I wish I hadn't done. You only know what you know in hindsight. I mean, I can only look back and say I know what to do now. But at the same time, guys, I don't have an interest in crying over spilled milk. Yes, it was a mistake. Yes, I probably should have invested time somewhere else or elsewhere. I think the ROI, the return on investment of time, was lower. Now, first of all, I just want to say I'm not saying Zazzle is a bad platform. You can make a lot of money on Zazzle. I'm just saying for me, maybe it was my IQ that was too low. I don't know what the details were. But maybe it was something about me that I just couldn't grasp the concept of Zazzle right away. Honestly, basically the flip opposite is what happened to me on TeePublic. With TeePublic, I got that concept right away. Maybe it was because I started with Redbubble and I kind of had a good basis, but with Zazzle, that was not the story. I took a long time to get good at Zazzle. And when I say good, doing as much as I am now, but good for somebody else is, it's all subjective. I mean, somebody might look at me and say I'm doing terrible, and then somebody else might look at me and say I'm doing great. So everybody's at a different level. But to me, the amount of time that I had invested, I could have invested in other areas. It didn't even have to be Redbubble, whether it be blogging, whether it be making apps. You guys know I'm a fanatic about making apps. I love making apps. I love setting up blogs. I love creating different type of passive, quote-unquote, passive income that I really call portfolio income or autopilot income because to me it's just more valuable. So the return on my investment for the amount of time that I invested is just not worth it, in my opinion, for Zazzle to rank it at a really, really high platform to say this is the best. Now, is it a good platform to make money on? Absolutely. To make passive income on? Absolutely. Specifically because you don't have to really nearly worry about the risk of getting your store banned or deleted or anything like that. I have not really seen anybody that I personally know complain about that kind of stuff on Zazzle. Maybe it has happened. Once again, I cannot vouch for that. I have not heard anybody had these kind of issues, but it's very time consuming. It's time consuming, and let's just say I had 10 minutes out of the day, I can create, 10 to 30 designs on Redbubble, right? In those 10 minutes. Maybe not necessarily upload them, but I can create them. On Zazzle, that could take me 2 to 5 designs. So the amount of productivity is just decreased when you're on Zazzle. Yeah, it's just more complicated. Number 3, hiring dishonest people and giving them a pass. This has been my mistake. I don't want to say it's been my downfall. It's definitely a regret or a mistake that I have. This has been like a consistent theme. Is honestly because I'm just too nice. That's really what it is, guys. When I'm too nice to employees, and it's been a consistent theme, not just in print on demand, but like in every industry, when I hire people and I let certain things pass, like I give them a pass on certain things, I say it's okay, we'll fix it next time, whatever. I'm too nice, they take it for granted, and that's just the fact of it. And I guess you could say it's a personality defect. When I see somebody make a mistake the first time, I gotta call them out on it, and the second time, I'm not supposed to give them a pass. I have to fire them. At least that's just the way I believe it now. At that time, when I was first starting and I was actually looking into hiring people, which is relatively recent, I mean, we're talking about a number of months, I would give him passes. I would give him passes on things that shouldn't be given passes for, things that we clearly went over, things that basically show pure disrespect for what we're doing in the job. If I say specifically, do not do this, and they just keep doing it carelessly, it's just disrespectful at that point, because you're not paying attention to the work, you're not paying attention to what's important. And for me, a mistake that has cost me time, cost me money, cost me effort, and more importantly, out of all those things, cost me energy, hiring dishonest people that just are careless about the job and don't respect the position. I've hired new people recently, and you guys probably know about that. I've spoken about that before. But I've hired a significant amount of people recently and as virtual assistants. And, they work part-time, so it's not like they're full-time employees. I just call them contractors because that's really what they are. They get paid for the work that they do. If they don't do work, they don't get paid. Point blank, period. Things are going relatively smooth right now. Obviously, there's some things that I want to iron out, but, in time, hopefully things will go. But a consistent mistake that I do is just simply being too nice. And I'm working on not being too nice. I know that sounds wrong, and I know that sounds bad. If you guys have ever ran a business before, hopefully you can understand where I'm coming from. The people who may have never ran a business, hopefully you guys don't look at me and say he's just a scumbag. But that's the truth. When you run a business, sometimes your employees will just take advantage of you because you're too nice. I don't want to be too nice, and I don't want to be taken. I want to be nice, but I don't want to be taken advantage of. And unfortunately, from what I'm seeing, it's almost like you can't be nice at all. That's what I'm seeing. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is just what I'm tending to see. So, the more experience I gain, the more life knowledge I'll have. But definitely a mistake of mine that I wasn't. I gave people too much leeway. Point blank. Period. Mistake number 4. Believing that print-on-demand income is small income. So here we go again with this. This is really connected to the first mistake that I completely regret. And they're connected on a deeper level, but the reason why I was so careless about print-on-demand in the very beginning, when I'm talking about very beginning, I'm talking about way before this year, way before a few months, even prior to the last year even starting. I was in print-on-demand, but I was careless about it. I was making money from blogging. I was making money from apps. I had just sold another brand aside from the clothing. This was way many years after, but I'd sold a brand that had a few websites as a roll-up, and I was just lackadaisical. I didn't really bring the firepower, if you guys know what I mean. And the part of the reason why I didn't is because I inherently thought that print-on-demand was small income. And if you compare product by product type pricing, it is small income. I have certain products that I sell for $300, $400, $500. Not to you guys, obviously, but to other people out there for a certain product, for other niches, other things that have nothing to do with print on demand, have nothing to do with this blog, have nothing to do with this YouTube channel, have nothing to do with anything like this. But I have certain products that I sell, and some things that I say, my internal dialogue at the time was, why would I go out there and try to fight for a $2 shirt that's going to be sold, or $3 or $5 of profit on a shirt that's going to be sold? Meanwhile, I could go out there and actually put all my energy into something that's $400, $500, $600 as a product. I can say that I'm wrong about that, because the special thing about print on demand is, assuming, obviously, you don't have any bans or suspensions or anything like that, when you create that shirt, and let's just assume it's successful, that shirt can sell 100 times, it could sell 50 times, it could sell 1,000 times, but it could also sell 0 times. But when it does sell plenty amount of times, that adds up into a larger product. More importantly, it's something to rely on. This was something that I had kind of forgot, because you guys know when you are become, let's just say you boost yourself up in terms of income, you become more successful, you start to rely on the bigger things, and you look at smaller things like you take them for granted. You rest on your laurels. And at the end of the day, I have to also keep in mind that anything can happen. There might be a day where I'll lose all my blogs for whatever reason, whether I sell them, whether I lose them, whatever the case might occur, or my apps, or whatever the case may be, right? Something can happen. It's always good to have some sort of a backup. And maybe I'm thinking like this whole backup process now because I look at the world and I really see a lot of things that are unstable. I see a lot of things that are just simply unprotected. I mean, I don't want to go too deep into it, but things that are rightfully yours can be easily taken away in the world that we live in now. And I think print on demand, not necessarily for me, is a safe haven, but it's more like a backup, a just in case kind of thing. And it's one of the many different things that I use as a quote unquote just in case. And for me, the whole idea of diversifying, of having multiple different avenues, all really stemmed from one incident in my life. And that one incident was when I had sold my clothing company after being quote unquote successful. And this was in the beginning of, relatively halfway through or beginning of college, whatever you want to call it. It was nowhere near graduating at that point, but I sold the company, and or the business rather. I sold it. It was a website. It had inventory. It had the whole thing, right? It wasn't like a print-on-demand site. It wasn't. I wasn't posting designs on a website hoping that they would sell. I was buying products overseas, so I was putting my money at risk. Hats, shorts, hoodies, leggings, sports bras, you name it. And selling them to direct consumer. The only thing was, when I had sold that business, I had really no other kind of income that was supporting me substantially. Right after I had sold it, I had fell into a depression because I was used to a certain level of income flow of every single day. And then I told myself, I got to get myself out of this. I got to do this again. Yes, I have some money in the bank, and I did spend frivolously. I'm not going to lie. I did spend like a non-intelligent individual. I thought I was, partying or whatever, but I wasn't partying. I wasn't doing dumb stuff, but at the same time, I was celebrating, and I was spending like I shouldn't have been spending. And instead of me seeing income coming into my bank account, I saw too much income going out. And that kind of put me into a slight depression. And then I realized that this depression was self-inflicted. I had done this to myself. So I said, you're the only one who's going to get yourself out of this. There's nobody who's going to come and save you. You got to fix this for yourself. And so from there, and that point on, that's when I started focusing on, how can I diversify in my income? What can I do that can build different things. And amongst that, the first thing I tried was building like a marketing agency. It failed when I first started, and I abandoned it. And then I started doing other things. One of the things I did was KDP, for those who don't know. I don't talk about KDP because I don't do it anymore. I just simply get checks every single month, week, whatever you want to call it. I don't even check the bank accounts. I get these little remittance emails of like, hey, you get remittance income from KDP from here, from there. I don't check how much it comes in, but I know it's been relatively the same for like the past 5 years. But ever since then, I've been focusing on, like I said, diversifying the income. Whether it be building blogs, whether it be building apps, but it started with KDP. It started with a few other things. I started building blogs, started building stores. There's a store that I have till this day on Shopify, and I have currently 4 Shopify stores, but till this day from Shopify that produces, even though it's small, like $120 of income a month, it's still something, right? And I get different variations from different places and things like that. So for me, the mistake for sure was to disrespect print on demand by believing it's small income. And the truth is, it is what you make of it. If you don't give it as much attention as you should, or you don't give it that much attention, you're going to get right back what you deserve. Like, if you essentially put X amount of effort in, you're going to get X amount back. That's really all it comes down to. And it's not just about effort. Like, obviously, I know some people who might put a lot of effort into something and they might expect a certain result back. It's not just about effort, right? You have to do the right stuff too. Working hard is not only the answer, but you have to do it properly as well. Like, for example, if my job is to, let's just say, break down a cement wall, right? I can either break the wall down by kicking it all day long, I can punch it with my hand all day long, or I can get a sledgehammer, or I can get a jackhammer. So I have different options, right? I can, all of the options is working hard, but I also have to use some intelligence and some logic. If I sit there and kick it all day, I'm going to break something in my leg or my spine, or something's going to go wrong. If I use my hand, I'm not going to get any progress done, and I'm going to break my hands. If I use a sledgehammer, I might sweat, but I'll get progress done. If I use a jackhammer, I'll be saving time, cost me more money, but I'll get the progress done. So my point is you get what you make of it. If you're going to, and this is what I didn't realize. I thought it was just, X amount of effort and get half returns or quarter returns or 1/10 of the returns. That's not nearly the case. I mean, you get what you make. If you put in X amount of work and with X amount of intelligence, you're going to get Y result back. It's directly proportional. If you have absolutely no intelligence, no research, no knowledge, no nothing, and you're just working hard all day, you're really running in place. You're not moving forward at all. You're going to end up one of those people with 3,000, 5,000, 2,000 designs and 0 sales. You don't want to be like that, because that was an individual who worked hard but didn't use any intelligence whatsoever. Then you have other people who are all intelligence, right? And they'll create like 2, 3, 4, 5 designs, and they think that they could just live off that income. And that's not the case either. That's why when we talk about certain things in the courses, like the Redbubble Tag course, we talk about, and really through the whole course, there comes to an understanding that, yes, scale matters. The amount of work that you produce directly correlates to your success, but also the quality of work also. And this is what we talk about POD design course, Redbubble Tag course, POD design course. We talk about both of these things. For those who are consistent watchers of the channel, you guys know this. I'm not speaking a foreign language here. I can have the most attractive design in the world with the best tags, and I could generate sales from those designs. But if I only have 4, 5, 10, or 20, what is that really going to do for me? Is it going to provide me a full-time income? Is it going to change my life? Sure, it will make me some dollars here and there, but it's not going to change my life. It's not going to, really give me a 180, right? That's why I say it's not just about the quality, but it is about the quantity. Redbubble is one of those games where you're going to have to play both sides of the field, the offensive and the defensive end. You're going to have to do both. And like I said, I didn't realize that because I wasn't going in all the way. I wasn't caring. And like I said, these are all mistakes that I could have done better at the time. But hey, hindsight is 2020. Hopefully, if I said these mistakes, maybe it will stop somebody from performing some of these mistakes that I made. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Everybody's human. I'm human. I make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. These are just some of mine. And these are some of the big mistakes that I probably, if I would have changed these, or I would have been intelligent enough to change these earlier, maybe I would have had a different scenario that I'm in now. And my scenario is not bad now, but it was carved through discipline. It's not like I want to create 60 designs a day. It gets pretty old after a few days, just on Redbubble. Not to mention Society 6, Zazzle, which Zazzle is on and off, honestly. Zazzle is just... I don't want to say I'm through with Zazzle, but I definitely produce an income on Zazzle, but it's not what I enjoy doing by any means. I have the Printful mixed with the Shopify mixed with you guys know how Printful works. You can connect it with other sites. We got the what is it called? Sorry guys. The America one. I can't believe I'm forgetting the name. I was literally just using this. It's not called Fan Art America. Whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's late. I've been working literally all day. All these different platforms. If I would have taken these things a little bit more seriously, had I changed, maybe my situation would have been different. But once again, situation is not bad. We're doing very well in terms of income on all these platforms. It's just a matter of doing it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you guys later. Sorry for my delusion. I can't even remember the words that I'm saying. I feel like total airhead right now. Like I need to get some sleep, but you guys know what I'm talking about. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Bye.